is Blue Eagle Politics here, and today I am going to be discussing the 2020 election results and what I think it means for 2024 with the brand new change in the numbers, where states like Texas, North Carolina, Florida gain seats, and then the Rust Belt like Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio lose seats. So let's get into it. So, of the 2020 results, what stood out to me most was the fact that Georgia flipped blue, yet North Carolina nor Florida flipped blue in the process. Georgia, I think, would have been one of the last states I would expect to flip blue out of the states that I actually thought could flip blue. But, go figure. Joe Biden did win the popular vote, around about 80.9 million votes, so about 81 million votes. And Trump won 74 million votes. So, yeah. If it was proportional, Joe Biden would have around about 270 to 271 electoral votes. But that's besides the point. Georgia really surprised me on how it flipped by 0.25%. Higher margin than Trump had in Michigan. But in Georgia, the closest state out of all the states this time around. The state was the closest, and it was by 0.05% more than Trump's win, percentage-wise. So, that's interesting. Michigan went for Trump by around about 0.2%, but this time it went for Biden by around about 3%. So that's nice to know. In Pennsylvania, around about 1.2 points. Wisconsin was the most right-leaning of the Rust Belt states. Well, the three Rust Belt states. Count Minnesota if you wish, because that almost flipped in 2016. So yeah, based on this trend info, if things remain the same, then, well, we're going to see a huge shift. But I'm going to just do this generic Democrat versus generic Republican, like how I expect it to be on the next election. So these are the states I expect to see safe for the Democrats. Not any real surprises. Not New Hampshire, sorry. Maine at large can be likely to safe. $187 electoral votes to Democrats guaranteed, basically. And then I expect Republicans to, no matter what, have these states safely in the bag. And no longer Kansas and Missouri, like I would have actually considered them to be definite Republican states. But what's interesting about both of them, they shifted much further to the left over the last election. And I expect them to continue shifting left, but I do think it's a large voter turnout that's just Republicans who didn't like Trump. So that boosted Biden over the edge, and also a very high Democrat turnout. But it's not a guaranteed safe hold. So likely states, I expect Colorado, Minnesota. I now expect the 2nd District of Nebraska, New Hampshire, and Virginia all to be likely states. Guaranteed, basically, to be likely to safe. And likely Republican states, I expect to be Missouri, Kansas, Texas, Iowa, Ohio. Especially because these two, Ohio and Iowa, I thought they'd be much closer. Iowa, I think, actually might have shifted to the right, if I'm not wrong. So, Iowa, no. That's going to stay likely. And then to the lean states, I think Democrats have Michigan and Nevada in the lean territory, but it's not for certain. And I think for sure Florida and North Carolina and Maine 2nd District are in the lean territory for Republicans. But this is still an early prediction, but we will still see what the final result will be in 4 years, obviously. And for the tilt states, I think Pennsylvania is a tilt blue, for sure. If I can actually put it to tilt blue. Georgia and Arizona are tilt red, they barely went blue this time, and that was only because the people there didn't really like Trump that much. Georgia, there was very high Democrat turnout, but with the voter purges and stuff going on there, just voter suppression in general, that's going to shift Georgia back. And then it's all in Wisconsin, which I think would be the most closest of all the states. And I think it would narrowly go Democrat. If Biden has a good first term, then flip Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Maine 2nd District. But just assuming from how I see it right now, generic Democrat versus generic Republican, Democrats have an advantage by a few electoral votes. Not a big advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. Well, and without further ado, I ask you to please subscribe. We are at 42 subscribers. We are trying to hit 50 subscribers before the end of December, and I would truly appreciate it. Without further ado, I'm sorry that I was on break for a while. It was because I didn't have much ideas on what I should do following the election. So yeah, that is it for now. Bye-bye.